This is the Secure Podcast, your podcast for all things love,
family,
entrepreneurship,
and the life that happens in between. Welcome to our podcast. Today's show is The Gift of a Woman. Now, if you guys have heard us in the last 3 episodes, I have a good woman, and I know that the gift of a woman has been invaluable in my life, in my children, in our business. So let's dive in and hear more about the gift of a woman. Today, I will be leading the conversation, and Dr. Griffin will be joining in. As you guys know, in the first podcast or previous podcast, I talked about how I started the business and how Dr. Griffin was so invaluable in helping me, take my dream and make it reality in terms of her stewardship, in terms of making all the most important things more organized so we can move forward. Dr. Griffin, how did you do that? How were you able to steer your husband, be a mom, be a wife, and still all that you still were able to, do your dreams, go to school, move in your career. How was that possible?
When I sit here and think about it, when you're kind of in the grind doing it, you don't realize how much you're actually doing. Because I guess with the concept of, just being result oriented when things are presented your way and you have intrinsically the grind that it takes towards completion, you just kind of hold your head down and do the work. Um, and so I guess what helped me most in order to be able to successfully manage all of those tasks was first my spirituality.
Yes, very important.
Knowing that not just that you know who God is, but being able to recognize like the God in everything. And that is what really helped. That's what really anchored me in being able to accomplish those things. But also, I have to give credit to my mom for this, but being extremely organized.
Yes, you are.
And not like type A, because I'm not like super anal over most things, but I guess to really provide a framework and a structure for people to produce. And so, whether that is within the family unit, having systems and structures in place so that people can flourish. In the business, creating systems and structure, a framework so that people can excel in their role helps to grow the business. And also creating that structure and framework for myself um, so that I am able to accomplish kind of those personal and professional goals. So I would have to say that again, the spirituality and a framework of structure.
Wow. That's G Tribe. That's the key. But she is kind of anal. I mean, if you go in her closet and she made me do the same thing, all her shirts are all white, all blue, black hangers, pink hangers. Everything's organized. So you have to
But it helps.
shoes,
It helps. But it
shoes,
helps you,
dress shoes.
right?
Yeah, but it helps me. It did help me.
Right.
I remember when I was in college and I kept failing calculus, and my wife helped me with calculus, and she was always telling me, John, you have to line your problem up. You have to make sure things line up. The left side this way, the right side, and you'll be able to get through your problem. And I was all over the place. I have zero holder spot or whatever. The derivatives all crazy, but she's always been very organized.
But you know that there's some theory out there that exists that indicates people who are less organized are more creative, more kind of
Right,
the
right.
visionarians. And I do think there's truth to that, but I still think, being granted the landscape like a blank slate in order to dream and kind of throw it all against the wall, if you're not that person to organize those concepts and those thoughts, then you're going to need someone present to do that. And again, I think it kind of allows you uh, the ability to begin to execute and implement.
Right. Um, but let's go a little deeper in that subject. That is accurate. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that a person that's disorganized cannot be successful?
That okay? Say that again.
A person that's disorganized, a disorganized person.
Yeah.
Um, let's take one of our children, Jabril,
Oh,
the baby boy. Disorganization, but he's smart. He's very introspective and he's very deep. Do you think he have a problem being successful?
no, I don't think there's a problem. And I kind of goes back to what I was just saying. I think that a lot of times our that's where your creativity is able to kind of evolve. And so to be able to be a free thinker, to be able to just kind of export freely whatever those thoughts or visions are is
Right.
a gift. And I think everyone should be able to have the ability to do that. But I also think that next step is implementation and execution. And
Yes.
so if you
Yes.
can continue to dream all day in an open space, having a blank slate to do that, but at some point, at
At
some
some
point,
point, you
if you
gotta.
want to see the results, you need to kind of organize it in a way so that you have a plan to execute, implement, and move forward.
So, do you think that as a mother and a wife, and how you're organized and how you're able to move in your own personal life, what qualities seeped into how you manage our business? Like, what are the qualities being a mom and being a wife? And most sometimes you were a student at the same time. You were in
Yeah.
grad school. You get your doctoral degree. You
Yeah.
were, working. Were any of those what qualities would you identify? Say, you know what, John, I would say this, this, and this. I know organization, but
Yeah.
that's kind of abstract. I want to kind of push your thinking and say, what qualities do you think besides being organized? There had to be, and your spirituality is very important,
Yeah.
but there had to be something intrinsic. What made you be able to handle all this and having a
Yeah.
husband like me and kids the way we have?
Well, I think it's kind of a combination of multiple things. I think recognizing where you're an expert and where you're a witness. And so being able to ascertain here's where I am great. So let me extend those attributes into a different context. And here is where I am a student, a learner, a witness. And so let me receive the skill set and the content that our staff members have, our children have, even the different social organizations, being able to sit, listen, learn,
Yes.
and then identify those gaps and area of opportunities to be able to grow and prosper. I think those are just kind of some basic qualities and characteristics of being a leader. So you really need, as a leader, you need to know when to be a lion and a lamb. And so
A lion and lamb, G Tribe. Put that
yeah.
down. Write that down quickly.
So I think in the business, all 750 plus employees who have heard from me know that I see myself as the protector. And so
Yes.
we are in the position, and it's through the lens of protecting the blessings that we've been granted. And
Yes.
so when I have to be a lion and come out swinging to
G
protect
Tribe.
the blessing,
Swing.
then I'll do that. I'll
Right.
do that for the team, that's in the office. I'll do that for the officers that are out there on the post. I do that for our family. I do that for my husband, my really best girlfriends. When I have to be a lion, I I bring it,
Yeah.
and being able to recognize when it's time to be a lamb. And so, going out in the field, actually learning and listening from the officers, sitting with individuals in the office to listen to their wins and woes. I'm a lamb at that time, and I'm a nurturer.
Right, right.
So,
She's kind of bold too. Denitra G Tribe she's Dr. Griffin is bold, man. We was in Thailand, and we rode the elephants, and she jumped down on the neck of the elephant, and I was like, I'm not going down there. I was holding on. He's like, you scared? Like hell? I mean, excuse me. I was like, yeah, I'm scared. I'm not going down there. She was like, she jumped down on the neck. She was like, and the seat was leaning. And I was, because I'm muscular. And she was like, "Let's go." I'm like, "Shit, not me. Somebody got to be here for the kids." I'm like going down there, man. But you're courageous, and I say that you're very courageous. So this is a question. This is an introspection question for you, Dr.
Hmm.
Griffin. How do you describe yourself as a wife?
Mm.
I mean, this is kind of introspective.
How do I describe myself as a wife?
Right.
In one word?
No, you can use many words. You can use but we gotta you can't hold it too long.
Right. I it's hard to describe myself as a wife. I do value the institution of marriage, and because I consider my marriage as a healthy marriage, I desire for other people to share. Um, the I encourage people to get married because I was just talking to a sorority sister of mine, and we were just talking about
What sorority is that?
Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated.
First fam. First fam.
Absolutely. And so when we look at ourselves as wives, it's a balancing act, right? And so you really serve as the God conscious of the marriage. Um, you really serve as the nurturer of the marriage. You really serve as the person with the intuition in the marriage.
Man,
So I
that's
think
true.
that my role, in our marriage, like I'm the come to. I wouldn't say necessarily the fixer, but people really do, the family, the unit really do come to me as a counsel. And it's funny because now that the kids are getting older, I say
I'm an
I'm a
advisor. I'm a
consultant.
consultant.
I am.
He's
I am
like,
your
don't call me
consultant
mom. I'm your
now.
consultant. Hey,
I
what?
I
Daddy,
am
she
your
said she's not my mom
yeah.
anymore.
They're like you can't you can't just quit being a mom. Like I'm like I am your consultant. Everyone
Oh
is of
man.
age. Jabril has about 4 months left before he's legal. I am a consultant, and so as they're
Yeah.
older, like you're a provider when the kids are younger,
Right.
because you're making sure all of their daily needs are met. I believe that we've done a great job in building leaders. I think that we've
Yes.
done a great job in, adding value to society, creating leaders to be great contributors of society. And now my role has changed as a consultant. So,
I can picture our kids saying,
yeah, right.
consultant.
I'm still a nurturer. That
Right. And
you
a
never
protector.
and a protector. So
Yeah.
those never leave. But my role in the
Shifts.
unit has shifted. And
Yeah.
so I really walk with my children as opposed to in front of them directing.
So now that you are playing a very prominent role in AGB, you're the president of AGB Investigative Services. You're the founder and CEO of Always Getting Back Foundation. You're also the president of all AGB Institute.
Yes.
And oftentimes you find yourself as the only black woman
Yes.
in certain rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're selling. You're in a different position. You're
Yeah.
selling, or you're trying
Mm-hmm.
to, um, you know, get monies in to better not our children, but when we say our kids, we're talking about the kids we bring in to mentor, to do scholarships.
Yeah.
How do you handle that, being the only black woman? Are you intimidated in
Well,
any way?
well, let me be very clear. No. But what it does do, I do remember, and I had this conversation with a colleague before, is mentally exhausting when you are the only African American in a room.
Yeah,
Because when you enter the room, you have to bring your A game. And so,
that's right.
especially as business owners, we are oftentimes invited in spaces where we've never been before,
Correct.
and where we don't know anyone who's been in
Yep.
those spaces, and so you really don't know what to expect. And I would take us back to the time when we were purchasing or considering bringing in the profit sharing, the benefit packets for
Yes.
the business.
Yes.
And so all we knew was our experience on being a recipient signing up for 401k,
That's
being a
right.
benefactor
That's
of the
right.
profit sharing plan. Never were we on the opposing side making the decision
Yeah.
on what options or opportunities we're going to offer 750 people. So in those rooms were Caucasian men and my black husband. So now I'm the black woman in the room. And so I have to have a keen awareness of legislation. I have to have a keen awareness of what we want for our
Yes.
people. I have to have a keen awareness of what does this mean on our bottom line. And so I had to sit up straight. I had to have on my best listening ears. And I had to be brave enough to ask those questions because sometimes just being present in the room isn't enough. You need to be
That's
engaged. So
right.
I need to let folks know who I am, my intellect, what I have that you can't see, which is my intelligence, and challenge them on every suggestion that they wanted to bring forward. And I think since then, when I do enter these rooms, some of the same people, once you're making those type of business deals, you're sometimes you end up in the same circle, and so they're really looking to see what I say and what my vibe is because
Yeah.
they know I'm gonna bring it.
That's an understatement. G Tribe, you know, the rumor, well, not the rumor, but they say if you can get to Denitra, if, the heck with John, the hell with him. He's, I guess I'm the dumb one.
Not at all.
But they like,
'Cause I
look,
don't have no dumb
they
man.
like, look, get to Denitra. All our advice is like, you get to her. They tell everybody, get to her. Because all the time when you go into a room like that, they just talk to the man. Even our designer.
Yeah,
And
we experienced that.
you're very clear, like nothing's moving until and unless I approve. And I make it very clear because I will give you a space. Hey,
Yeah.
baby, what do you think?
But
Don't I? Let me
yeah,
say it.
but everyone's not used to that. And
Yeah.
the culture of business is not designed to see a woman and a man,
Yeah.
particularly a black
Unfortunately.
woman and a man. And so that's one of the many reasons I agreed to do this podcast because when I explained to our marketing team, we're either upholding, Black Girl Magic, which I am so there for,
Yeah.
and rebranding the Black man, which I'm so there for.
Right.
But we cannot forget about the Black
Come.
unit.
That's right.
Yes, and so we need to see more of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So some fun questions. Our staff,
I love them.
so we always talk about if you had to write a book. I know you're published because you're a doctor, so you had to publish your dissertation.
Yeah.
But the book would be called The Silencer.
Yeah, that's
The
my
si-
nickname.
The
They gave me
Silencer.
that.
Why, G Tribe, listen to this. Why do they call you The Silencer? And I want you to be honest.
So, and it's so funny. Oh my gosh. HR
The
gave me that.
Silencer.
They call me the silencer. And that's so I can kind of guess why they gave me that name. And it's so funny because even when we were in vacationing with friends, they kind of picked up that
They
vibe
picked that
too.
vibe
They were
too,
like,
yeah.
"Oh my God!" So I'm called the silencer.
I will give me a car. I am not walking. I want a private car. I would pay. Where is?
Don't say that.
Where? Look, I'm not. Cause, let me tell them a quick story, G Tribe. We gotta tell the story because the we're in Thailand and my best friend Milton, 06, 32 years. What's up, Fat? We were in Thailand for his 50th birthday, and we were so tired. We had a long day, and we had to all pile into a van. The van, like, okay, we gotta make 4 stops. She's like, I'm not getting in that van. I do not travel that way. Where is the? I want a private car. Take me right to the villa.
Well, you got to give
Everybody
it a
was
little
like-
bit more context because that just sounds like some privileged bougie stuff. So let me say,
You're not bougie. You're not bougie.
well,
You gonna sit here and tell G Try that G Try? Okay.
I like nice
Fine.
things.
Oh,
I like
man.
nice things. So let's say that I do not. I like nice things. I
Okay.
am not because sometimes people equate bougie with being rude and nasty.
No, Oprah said. What about Oprah said?
And I like nice things. So we'll just leave it there. Here's why folks called me, I think folks call me the silencer,
Right.
is back to being a lamb, right? And so I don't say much, but when I do speak, I'm gonna move mountains. So I listen, I learn, I'm an observer, and so I'm pretty quiet for the most part.
Right. Right.
But when I speak, a change is being made.
Mm.
And that's why, I'm just I'm unassumed, right? And so I have a very friendly face. I'm very
Young
receptive.
face,
I'm
young.
very approachable. And it's important to me that you're always kind. So I even preach to my girls, like Griffin girls are kind. And so
That's right. We're
we
not mean
pride
women.
ourselves in
That's
being
right.
kind, respectful. But when you have to unleash
I
the
heard that you tried,
lion,
but,
when you have to unleash
but,
the lion, then you know, there you go.
is there anything that you're scared of? I mean, is there anything that you're scared of? I mean, the gift of a woman. I've talked in podcasts, and I've talked publicly about your effect on my life and how it had not been for my wife, and then there goes I. Well, have not been for God, then there goes I, but then my
Yeah.
spouse.
Hmm.
But I've mentioned about my fears and things like that. But what are you scared of?
Huh.
What are you
What?
scared of?
So this is a little abstract,
Hmm.
but it kind of encompasses my fears. And so I am most afraid of disappointing God. I
Mm.
am most afraid of that. And so I go to bed every night knowing that with confidence that I have attempted to do good by everyone that I've encountered.
Hmm. Hmm.
And if I feel that I have not, then my prayer is, Lord, when you allow me to wake up the next day, allow me to do the best next thing.
The best next
And
thing.
so I
Powerful.
want to make sure that whenever I part from someone, that is always decent.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, then I want to have the opportunity to make it right the next day.
Yes.
So
Yes.
my biggest fear is disappointing God.
Right. Right. And I guess we'll talk more about spirituality in our
Yes.
future podcast, which is basically, I think, is the cornerstone of our relationship in our
Yes.
family. Um, let's have some fun.
Okay.
Um, you've my staff and us and your children heard many quotes. Some were that you've made.
Hmm.
We call them, Mama Griffin quotes,
Oh my
and
goodness.
some are success humbles you.
Yes, it
Some
does.
are appearance demands respect.
What was
Uh,
that?
Appearance
Oh God, yes.
demands or commands respect.
Yes, it does.
Oh, this is a good one. You become what you believe.
Amen. Yes.
But I want you to really expound on this one.
Which one?
If your dream doesn't scare you,
Come on.
then you aren't dreaming big enough.
That's the truth. I learned that from TD Jakes.
Oh, go ahead. That's my man.
I learned that from TD Jakes.
Right.
Because so it kind of it was developing for me when I heard that. And I say that because I take risk, but I take calculated risk. And so sometimes, we set goals that we know we can achieve, right?
Right.
And so those goals may not be big enough to scare you.
Right.
And so TD Jakes said, if it doesn't scare you, then you aren't dreaming big enough. And so, for me, that was to say, Tanisha, you've taken calculated risks when you felt like you wouldn't fail.
Right.
And so you have to make sure you dream bigger.
But I think as I go back and thinking in our marriage, I think that you've taken risk before that really scared me. For example, it was bold for you to tell me, John, I'm gonna quit my job. 6 figures, by the way, G Tribe, 6 figures. And our son John had just started Hampton University, and you said, I'm gonna quit my job and finish my doctoral degree.
Yep.
Um, And AGB is right around at that time, $4 to $5 million. And as you know, in security, it's not a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And you say we'll be okay. Um, you did not know that quote then, that
I
quote,
didn't.
but
I
you
didn't.
actualized it because I'm like, this woman and go what the I'm like, Denitra, we got your John in school,
Yep.
we got healthcare. Although you tried to keep your insurance,
Yeah.
you were like in G Tribe, previous podcast, she talked about it's important to keep health insurance, so I keep
Yeah.
health insurance. But you were like, um, we're gonna be okay. What gives you the gumption
Yeah.
to live like that?
I know.
I mean, you were like,
That
what
was
gives even before
huge.
TD Jakes, you were
Yeah.
actualizing that. So I'm
Yeah.
like,
And I
this,
even had friends come up to me. It was so funny because a good friend of mine, we were in the parking lot and we
right,
we kind of ran into each other in the parking lot, and I was telling her, that I had just resigned from the job, and she, folks start counting your money. Like, how are you able to do
man,
that?
I was like, she didn't
Yeah.
go. What
Yeah.
the what?
But you know what? I learned early through Oprah that everything you need is within you.
right,
And so sometimes we look for external resources,
right,
um,
right,
or people
right,
to get you where you need to be. And so I know my value.
right.
And so being bold enough to make that statement and to do it, like I knew what I was able to do, right? And so I had cash stacked up, you know. I knew,
It wasn't a lot of cash.
but it was enough.
It was enough.
It was enough.
I was
So
like,
it was
what?
enough. It was enough to get me where it was enough to get me to a point.
That's right.
And so
That's right.
it
That's
was
true.
enough to get me to a point.
Right.
So I knew what I had and I knew what I was able to do. And so I had no doubt in what I was able to produce and reclaim. So
That's
I'm
right.
like, we about to make this move. I'm in it to win it, and I'm gone. Like,
That's
I
right.
didn't look back.
No leave, nothing for the swim
Yeah,
back.
nothing for the swim back.
Yeah, and I can think about another real quick. Well, we had sold our home and we were living with your sister, I believe,
Yes.
while we was looking for another house.
Mm-hmm.
And you called me on the phone. I was sleeping, and I think Nia was in the bed with me, our oldest daughter. You said, John, I have 13 classes.
Mm-hmm.
You're working full time.
I
You said, I have
was.
13 classes left. You said, I'm about to do 5, 6, and 2. And I was in the bed. I was like, okay. I was sleeping. Okay. I said, wait a minute. 5, 6, and 2.
I forgot I did a semester of 6 classes.
You said I'm gonna
Yeah.
do 5, 6, and 2. And I was like, that's kind of. I said, "Then you sure? Because you're working full time. I had to check. You still gonna keep your job, right? Because I was struggling.
Right.
I was struggling, man. It was tough. And you were like, watch, and you did that. So I can see your sojourn in terms of you actualization of
Yeah.
that. Here's another I want you to just give us some 2 minutes on is through your process you will learn your purpose.
Yeah.
Through your process you will learn your purpose.
Yeah.
What process? And does everyone have a purpose?
So yes, to the last question, everyone does have a purpose, and sometimes we struggle with figuring that out.
Yes. Yes.
And I have to say that I believe that a purpose is a verb. So it's not a job, it's not a place,
Right.
it's not a person, it's a
Right.
verb.
Right.
And I think the process is your life experiences,
Right.
right? And so when you look at the context of where you are, like the physical space and where you are,
Right.
you have to look at what you're doing consistently in those spaces, and you will probably find that verb, which is your purpose. So I
She
think
deep,
that
right? Demetra? That's deep. I can't wait for her book to come out.
what? So that is what helped me define my purpose, because I kept trying to figure out how I was ending up in certain spaces, and the gift of choice. Like, God
Yes.
gives you the gift to choose. And I was struggling with trying to reconcile
Yes.
choice with purpose.
Yes.
And so it helped me to see that,
I remember that conversation. I was
yeah,
you like John. I was like,
I would just ask random people,
I
like,
like.
how do you reckon? So just to
I was like,
get,
what the? So can you imagine you try getting up at 3 in the morning? Hey, you sleep? I said, no, I'm not sleep now. How you reconcile choice and purpose? I'm like, huh?
yes, yeah.
That's such a deep
I
question.
know,
You
because you
know,
would think if you had, if because in in a lot of faiths we think that your steps are ordered,
that's correct.
you are where you're supposed to
That's
be,
correct.
and so if it's true to that, then where is this beautiful gift of choice that God has given
Free
us,
will. That's
right?
correct.
And so it took me, I guess the researcher in me, I just started asking people who are close to me, like their philosophy of it, and
That's correct.
trying to reconcile my understanding of it. And that's how I was able to resolve your life experiences. The context in which you choose where to be is up to
That's
you,
right.
right?
That's
And
right.
so,
Because you say oftentimes to me, look, I'm not going nowhere or doing anything I don't want to
I
do.
don't want to do.
You're like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm
Yeah,
not going to do it anymore.
I'm going to do that anymore.
That's
But
powerful.
that verb remains the same.
Yeah,
So I would
purpose
just
being a
challenge,
verb.
yeah, I would just challenge.
That's a good quote. Purpose is a verb.
It is. So
So
just think about
G
it.
Tribe, that's heavy. I'm just gonna just bite that right now and put that part of my repertoire. So when I said, G Tribe, every time I quote her, she'd be like, "You stole my stuff." I'd be like, "All
Well,
wisdom is borrowed. All
all
wisdom is borrowed."
all knowledge is borrowed. Just
Yeah.
give the credit.
Okay, so I think Dr. Griffin, that will end our podcast, "The Gift of a Woman." I hope G Tribe, you guys have enjoyed this podcast. Please continue to answer your questions, your comments. We'd love to get your feedback. I think that it's been successful thus far, and it's kind of therapeutic for Denise and I to share some of our trials and tribulations because failure is feedback, and we just enjoy just sharing. And this is our life. We don't want to be phony. We don't want to be no pontification, no prevarication. We want to just be real, and I think that's the world needs more of that.
I agree.
You know,
I
there are Black
agree.
people who, and this is not to say Denise and I don't have any problems, or have any problems, in our marriage in terms of coming to one accord, but that's what it's all about. You get through it. So, my quote today was, "Small steps count too."
Small steps count too. Just keep moving. Just keep moving. We encourage you to please subscribe to watch our podcast on Tribe Thursdays, every other Thursday on Spotify, YouTube. Don't forget to send us your questions on Instagram and Twitter, or you can email us at securepodcast@agbfd.org. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe.
Yes. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.